Folks, let me ask you, have you ever had a boss that was really important? Now, I mean, really seen and respected as being important. Someone that you absolutely had to do a perfect job for. Maybe it was someone in charge of a whole corporation. What about someone who reigned over an entire country? How about the Queen of England? So our next speaker, Karen Crombie, is founder of Exact Editing, and she had the honour of working for Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II at Buckingham Palace, behind those golden gates, of course, that we've seen on TV. She's about to share the inside story on what it takes in the editing phase to make your book the best it can be. Would you please welcome to the State Library of New South Wales, Karen Crombie.
When I opened my eyes, it was still dark. It was extremely cold in London, and the very first thing I had to do that day was get myself to a job interview at Buckingham Palace. As I lay there, my mind was racing. I'd set the alarm super early, and pretty soon my feet were racing too. I got myself ready and rushed across the huge city on the top level of a red double-decker bus. I presented myself at the enormous golden gates that I'd seen so many times on TV and in magazines. It was freezing cold that morning, and yet I was clammy as a damp crumpet. The policeman at the little sentry box at the gate made a few phone calls, and then he waved me through. And I'll admit, up to that moment, I wasn't completely sure that they were going to let me through the gate. But soon I was crunching my way across the gravel of the famous forecourt, and in I went. Despite my nerves, I got the job, and soon I was working at the palace every day in the Queen's Anniversaries Office. Now, this is the department that does the 100th birthday cards and sends out all kinds of special messages across England and the world. Now, I was desperate to do a good job, but I learned some vital lessons there that really taught me so much and made me the editor I am today. The first thing was to slow down. When you rush, you make mistakes, and as you can imagine, not a single typo is allowed to escape the palace. The second thing, that every single document that leaves that place is checked by 3 different people. There is enormous value in having a separate person check your work. No matter how good you are, errors will sneak in. For example, you're sending out a 100th birthday card to Mrs. Smith, and you leave off 1 letter and send it to Mr. Smith. Do you know what would happen? Dear old Mrs. Smith in tears, because her husband died years ago fighting for his country. The British press, who are absolute savages, would have a story in the paper by the next day about how the Queen had snubbed some poor dear old pensioner. It's the only job I've ever had where a tiny admin error could be in the media the next day.